We've been working on converting fractions, decimals, and percents to each other, and we've mostly been working with percents between 1 and 100%. But we're going to look at now those that are really small, less than 1%, and those that are really large, greater than 100%. We do typically the same thing, but it's going to look a little bit different, and sometimes it's harder. So I want to change 0.2% to a decimal. 0.2% is a very small percent. I do the same thing as I would do to change it to a decimal. Anything else, you divide it by 100. So when I divide it by 100 or move that decimal 2 times, it is 0. My decimal is 0.002. It's easier to go from this small percent to a fraction if you change it to a decimal first, because from there, I follow the same steps as earlier. I put my number after the decimal in the numerator, and I put the place value of the farthest digit right. That place is in the thousandths place, so 1,000 goes in the denominator. And from there, you just simplify. The greatest common factor is 2, so you get 1 over 500. It's similar when you do the percent that's greater than 100%. So I'm going to divide it by 100 to get 1.7 or 1.70. And from there, I make that a fraction. Anything before the decimal is your whole number. So 1. Anything after the decimal becomes the fraction. 7 goes in the top. The place value of that farthest digit right is in the tenths place. So 10 goes in the denominator. Because you cannot simplify 7 and 10, 1 and 7/10 is my answer. Okay, we're going to work a little bit backwards. We have a mixed number, and we need to get it to a percent. We know because there's a whole number in front of it that it's going to be greater than 100. So the first thing I'd probably do is change it to a decimal. So we keep that whole number and put that in the front instead of a 0, because usually there's no number there, so it would be a 0. I just change 1/4 to a decimal by dividing numerator by denominator, and I get 0.25, and I add that to the 1 that's already there. 0.25 plus 1 is 1.25. So from there, I can make it a percent by multiplying it by 100. I get 125%. We're going to do the same thing with our decimal down here. And this is almost a little bit easier because I can just go straight from decimal to percent by multiplying it by 100. And I get 168%. The same thing as we did up here, we're going to do for this small decimal. Multiply it by 100. And I get 0.75%.